Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Selby Farm Estates. Sorry, I just got completely confused. Where today, it helps if I attach the PTO of the harvester. There we go. Today, we are doing things. We're harvesting canola. This is a new version of Selby. I turned off the hoods for no good reason. Fields now have definitions. I had to buy field 15 here, because I was going to do a canola harvest. I will be buying pretty much all the fields and using them all. So to harvest we are using the Case IH Axial Flow 9130, I believe it is. And I do have a truck standing by to unload into if needs be. Well, when we need to. Because the next field on the chopping block is going to be that field there, that little field that is unnumbered. Right there, that's one of your two starter fields. The other one is corn. I don't know what the starter vehicles are at the moment. I haven't actually gone into this in a new save game to check because I need to fiddle some stuff with save games, etc. to ensure everything is working as it should be. Because I need to actually get take the silage out of the silage clamp, or the chaff out of the silage clamp. Found out what the issue with that was. Basically a mistake, pretty much. Minor oversight and caused the silage clamp to have no tip calls. None of the silage clamps did, so let Lancey know and he fixed it almost immediately. So that isn't even an issue. And there's the truck we'll be using. It is a man tipper, it's a rigid body, I guess. I kind of like using those on the farm. It saves on having a tractor deployed to a field for carting. If I want to have, we'll say, a tractor ploughing or something, I can do that. Or have multiple tractors in use with courseplay, I can do that. I kind of like the flexibility that allows. Hopefully we will get this entire field done today. This 45-foot draper head is going to help big time. It would be great if we could get two fields done. I think Lancey also put in a central grain store. Because he said that he took my feedback on board and made the changes that I thought he should. Full disclosure, I haven't actually been through this map. I downloaded it. When did I download it? Yesterday, at some point. This is the first time I'm on the what Lancey's calling the release candidate for testing. Well, Lancey says the version he'll upload. I'm calling it a release candidate. Now, what I will do is I will do at some point a full Giants test on it, because I know what Giants testing criteria are. I will perform the I'll see if I can't perform the Giants testing on it, if I can at all, figure out how they do it, because that's something that'd be cool to figure out, and I might do a quick video on how that is done. One thing I am noticing is the canola is insanely thick. I think Lancey might have done some fiddling with num blocks per tile with the canola, because that seems insanely thick, or it's a custom texture, one of the two. Actually, all the crops seem quite very thick. That could be something to do with my well, the fact that I'm using an old version of the map in a save game, or an old version's save game with the new version that has changes that should have actually required a new save, but I can do some save porting over and theoretically not break too much. It's gonna break a lot of things, and I know it. I know it's gonna break stuff, and I'm not looking forward to breaking stuff. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be lots of fun. Oh good, I am recording. I was so worried there. I was looking at OBS and I didn't see anything going red, because usually there's a warning of something or other has gone wrong. Please help. Send the emergency services. No, it's actually working quite well today. And not using all of the CPU power ever, which is nice. One of those days. It's been one of those weeks. And I hope that my mental week has come to an end and it doesn't become a mental month where I'm just constantly trying to do something or other. Which I don't mind, it keeps me from getting bored, but at the same time it's nice to just sit down and be like, I'm going to sit down here and do nothing for the next 6 hours because I can. Or, you know, I'm going to sit down and actually work on my map for a few hours. I know I've been playing the Hunter a bit. For anybody who plays with me complains that, hey, you've been playing the Hunter, or anybody on Discord says, you've been playing the Hunter, Dave. Yes, I know, that was my chill out time. Leave me have my chill out time. Because in between that, yeah, there were periods when I was trying to do literally 6 things at once. Doesn't end well. I'll put it that way. It ends about as well as you probably expect. I've just realized I've got a separate streaming voice, which is a bit odd because my video voice tends to be a bit lower, tends to be down here somewhere, and then my streaming voice is up here because it's a bit more chipper. I need to get into my streaming voice more because it makes me sound a lot happier than like I can be just as happy and have my voice up here and have my voice down here, but this sounds a lot more bored than this does. So I need to use this voice a bit more, I think. Downside of this voice that I use is that it does require me to project a bit more, but it's not a big deal. Is this our second headland being done now? I think. Yes, this is the second headland. We can... I know that we haven't done a full second headland. Before anybody complains, we haven't done a full second headland, but it shouldn't matter too much if we just start going uppy downy. I am using the wheel today for once, which some of you will probably be shocked by because I've got a bad habit of using the mouse and keyboard when I could just use the wheel. The reason for that is laziness, even though it requires me to lean over the wheel to get to the mouse and keyboard. Mouse and keyboard requires less movement overall. I've got to move less limbs because I can just hold my hand over WASD and it's fine. Why did I gesture like with my? I've done it again. Why am I gesturing? Dave, you don't have your webcam on. It's fine. You don't need to gesture. Gesture? I am the co-op gesture. You don't need to gesture. This field could actually be all done in one load from the combine. That would be nice, but I would prefer it wasn't the case. IH Axial Flow 9130. No. Yeah, I'd prefer not to have this all done in like 10 minutes or less. This is the downside of me deciding intentionally to use stupid large equipment to test this map so that I can get it done as... I think the best word is efficiently as possible. I am using as few mods as I can... I say I'm using as few mods as I can go with. I'm using literally some mods. I'm using my usual bank of mods, which generally speaking don't conflict with each other. So any issues I find are probably going to be the map, but I can do some digging after the fact and try and replicate the problem with... and the most likely suspect is going to be Seasons, with Seasons missing. Because it's a fun little fact. I do know that Seasons causes bugs, and I know the Seasons devs have said, you know, if you find something that's odd, they basically said, if you find something that's a bit odd, try it without Seasons. Especially when it comes to something that Seasons can affect, and Seasons does, yeah, I've been told, affect how crop yields work, which is cool, but I have no idea how, and they haven't said how. But there is a way, there is an effect on crop yields, indirectly, somehow. Which is cool, I guess. And I'm using 6-day seasons, I think, on this map. I'm using extended seasons from normal because it makes more sense to me to have longer seasons as opposed to the more rapid fire ones that I tend to use, because I am testing this map and I plan on doing every field. I plan on harvesting every field, ploughing every field, cultivating every field, seeding every field, and harvesting every field a second time. So all the fields that aren't yet aren't yet seeded, they'll get plough, cultivate, seed, harvest. The ones that have crops in will get harvest, plough, cultivate, seed, and then harvest again. That's kind of my plan. I want to do every field because and Landy was basically saying the same thing today in TeamSpeak before I started recording. It's actually like 8 o'clock now, which isn't actually too bad for me. I'm usually recording a lot later than this, but I'm doing things out of my usual order to make sure that I can actually get videos recorded and edited and uploaded before I start just passing out. Lanny was saying that he wants to do some more extreme testing of Thornton Farm, which is going to be Oxygen David's next map, to make sure there isn't a repeat of the Sandy Bay issue where, for whatever reason, and I don't blame Landy for this at all, and I don't blame Oxygen David either. I think they're in-game issues that have somehow caused this. The 2 fields on Sandy Bay cause the game to crash if you try and work them, if you try and mow them. Unfortunately, they're both grass fields, so they're basically useless. And you would have seen in yesterday's stream, which I have no idea when that's going to go up because I've just realised I don't stream today. You have seen in yesterday's stream that I decided to do something a bit different and block both fields off in the best in as thorough a way as I possibly could. Field 25 got a bunch of beehives. Field 27 got a bunch of trees, and actually I built quite a nice forest there. If I do say so myself, I think it's a nice forest. If you don't like my forest, you don't go to my forest. I'm just looking at Audacity. Sorry, disk space remains for recording 4,209 hours and 26 minutes. They forgot the seconds. Which is it? Nope. There we go. I am also going to create bales in all the fields because reasons. Whoops. Also, I want to make sure that dropping straw swaths, much like grass swaths, doesn't cause problems on fields that are intended to be worked. Dang it, I'm terrible at this. There we go. So just empty out the canola and head into the wheat and or barley field. Now we do have a bit of work to do. We got fields 14, well, we've got unnumbered field 14, 18, 25, 29, which is in corn. That's going to be silage. And 7, which is 25, 19, 29, sorry, 7, 25, and 29, because I'm just terrible today, I think are all corn, which they're going to be turned into corn silage. And I just realised that if that canola field got done in, what, 15 minutes, I can do this wheat field as well today. So we're going to do double harvest, back to back. Because, you can, I guess. Because reasons. That should now have the straw swath on. Yes, straw swath is enabled because Giants got rid of the little bug where it was disabling straw swath. Even if you had nothing in the combine and your last crop was canola or soybean, well, a non-wheat or barley crop basically. Because I want a straw swath for this to make bales. And I want I want straw swaths for this to make sure the straw swaths don't break the game. Also, every field is going to be seeded in wheat or barley. The reason for that, I want to test truss swaths on those on every single field on the map. Which I know is probably going above and beyond what I need to test, but it's something I feel I should test. Because swaths or windrows or whatever you want to call them, they could cause issues with the game. And I want to make sure that's not... Okay, that field is not going to be turned into silage because I've just seen how huge it is. That is going to be harvested, and I'm going to need to get a coordinator for this thing, which means creative money is going to go back on very short. Well, not very shortly, but eventually. What I am going to do, though, is I'm going to turn off the HUDs again. And I'm going to Alt L, because I need a thumbnail for today's video, and this harvester has been in very few of my thumbnails. There we go. I can Photoshop that to look very, very nice indeed. That's, by the way, that's how I get my thumbnails to look how they do. I do Photoshop every single thumbnail I have. They all have small edits just to make the colors stand out a bit better and to make them a bit brighter. I will very, very rarely add stuff to the... Ooh. That, I think, is a game bug. But I will let Lancy know. I'll be sending a... Just so you guys know, I will be probably talking to Lancy, not Landy, every time I record and just saying, if I find something, I'll be talking to him every time I record. If there are that many small problems with the map. Because I do plan on trying to test something. Well, because of the way this Farm Sim works, I can test something different every video. And this is basically going to be running the map through the absolute ringer and doing everything by the book, playing the game normally, but I'll be doing it in such a way that I can test the map. I see what's happened there. I see what's happened there, indeed. That is barley, I believe, after showing up. And I can see exactly why the barley is after showing up. So I can explain that problem to him. And I would guess it's already been fixed. Because this is using the... just realized I'm going to have to change the... Well, no, I can just test the bits that I know are a bit wonky with the growth states. I could have had to do a GDM swap, but I've just realized I can test the minor little bits like that mystery barley over there in a separate save game with some intentionally cheaty equipment. This stuff, I try and keep it realistic. I try and keep it to what, you know, basically a console player might have. I know some of the stuff like the John Deere in the class and the man rigid body tipper, they may not be on console. Some of the equipment I have may not be on console. The scripts and all I may not be out on console. But if I use a harvester that can conceivably be on console and equipment that can conceivably be on console, I think I'm doing the map... I think I'm doing justice to testing. Because once you bring extra mods in that are not potentially conceivable on console, not realistic for console players, that's when you get into trouble. And the scripts, I know what the potential pitfalls are with the scripts I use. Which is why I'm, doing map testing with scripts installed. So I know what problems they can cause. And if they do start causing a problem, I can run through it, especially if it's seasons, with the developers themselves and see either how to resolve it or let them know that, hey, this is an issue that I've just found. Like there's a funny one where you would have seen on old streams I was getting silly numbers of bales, and but spoiler alert, you'll probably be seeing more bales today because I have no idea what to record for old streams, and I need to record that in probably the next hour or so. I don't really have time to set something up, so it's probably gonna be bailing on old streams today. At 4 PM GMT. If you're watching after 4 PM GMT, go check out the other video that went out today on the Old Streams farm. There we go. And this is going to be an absolute mess. But on the bright side, it won't take too long to bail up because these windrows are huge. There we go. Spin this around as well as I can. I don't mind if I miss a small bit, that's fine. And spin this round again. Don't want to miss a huge bit. And do you know what? Let's get that small bit I very nearly missed. Because I'm feeling like a perfectionist today. There we go. 2 fields harvested in 1 video. But that is going to be it for today. Because I need to... actually, no, it won't be it for today. Because I now want to test and check. Let's put that out just so that I can turn off the harvester. I now want to hop over into this. Not this. This. And turn on these icons. These icons. There is still no central grain store. Awesome. Where's the grain storage? Let's go over to the grain storage area. I do, by the way, have 4-wheel drive and diff locks on this man truck because it seems to have some minor issues with traction if you don't. So if I hit Shift G, turn on the HUDs again. If you see I've got diff locks 4-wheel drive on, that's something that's kind of unavoidable with this tipper itself. If I turn them off, the front wheels just start spinning like mad. Because for whatever reason it's front wheel drive otherwise. Right, which way am I going here? Is it left or right? Left or right? Left or right? Right. I'm going to try and stick to the correct side of the road, and I will test traffic eventually as well. Don't know how I've managed to get it to stick to 63-ish kilometers an hour, but I did. And yes, I know we've got a few different pieces of equipment here for moving grain. There's actually a semi-truck as well, if I really want to use that. But for today, we're going to use this Flegel man truck. I'm going to get that right up to there and hope that I'm not too close to the edge. I am not, because that was tip calls kicking in. So you gotta be very careful how I do this, because it could break tip calls if I get too close to the back. That's gonna have to do it for there. And we'll just kind of edge forward from that. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what's going on. Oh, the wheels themselves are causing some minor issues, which is fun, I guess. So sometimes tippers do this, and I'm not entirely sure why. Okay, so that's as high as I can get it there. So all I can really do is just start going forwards and backwards a bit over this. Because I don't have my... there we go. Don't have my joystick on, I'm not using the usual button that I use. But that is going to do it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button. I will empty out the combine off camera and we'll get going to a different field to harvest that in the next video. Until then, I'll leave you by saying I've been RainbowDave. You've been watching Farming Simulator 17 on Selby Farm Estates. Until next time, stay safe and goodbye.